Federico Gamboa. Federico Gamboa Iglesias, 22 December 1864, in Mexico City, 15 August 1939, in Mexico City, was a writer and diplomat from Mexico. He has been considered as one of the top representatives of naturalism in Mexico. Gamboa wrote novels, theater pieces, articles for newspapers and magazines, and an autobiography when he was 28 years old. For many years took notes of his travels, experiences, and thought, which he later published as 5 diaries. Posthumously, another 2 more volumes of his diaries were published. Life as a Mexican diplomat. Federico Gamboa was studying to become a notary in the National School of Law. However, both of his parents died, and he was forced to drop out and start working in 1884. He began as an assistant in a civil court and also began on his journalist career. In El Diario del Hogar newspaper, he had a regular article called Desde mi mesa, from my table, which he signed as La Corcadier. Even though he was doing well for himself, he was not satisfied and joined public service. After passing all the tests, he joined the Mexican Foreign Affairs Service as second secretary on 9 October 1888. Gamboa was 24 years old when he was sent to Guatemala. Afterwards, he worked for the Mexican embassy in Argentina. From 12 August to 24 September 1913, he was the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, but he ended his diplomatic career after only 44 days to run for president, along with General Eugenio Raskin as vice president for the National Catholic Party on 26 October 1913. He lost to Victoriano Huerta and Aureliano Blanque. Porfiriato. Federico Gamboa is well known as one of the most representative Mexican novelists of Porfirio Díaz's regime. José Emilio Pacheco pointed out that Gamboa was a geographic anomaly that found its place in the Porfirian society. Gamboa was, primarily, a man that searched for a good life from that time as the end of his life. For the writer and diplomat, being part of Porfirio Díaz's government was more than a chance event, it was for him an inevitable destiny. However, reality of the Mexican Revolution changed his destiny. Porfirio Díaz left office in May 1911, and Gamboa received him in Europe and was able to keep his diplomatic post as ambassador in the Netherlands. During Victoriano Huerta presidency was invited to lead the Secretariat of Foreign Affairs. He led the Secretariat for 44 days and then left to run for president, but lost against Huerta. His return to Mexico marked then Gamboa's end of his good life as public servant. Furthermore, during Venustiano Carranza presidency, Gamboa had to leave Mexico along with his wife Maria Sagaceta and his only child, going first to the United States and then to La Habana, Cuba, from 1914 to 1919. Works. Novels. His novels are Del Natural, Esposos Contemporáneos, 1889, Apariencias, unauthorized version of Apariencias, 1892, in El Easton Mercedes, Argentina, Suprema Ley, 1896, unauthorized version of Suprema Ley, 1913, in a Caracas, Venezuela newspaper. Metamorphosis, 1899, Santa, 1903, Reconquista, 1908, La Laga, 1913, El Evangelista, novel about Mexican customs, 1922, Autobiography and Memoirs, Imprisiones y Recuerdos, 1893, My Diario, Primera Saraya, 1892, My Diario I, 1892, 1896, Mucho de mi vida y algo de la de otros, Introducción de José Emilio Pacheco, My Diario, Primera Sarai Roman II, 1897, 1900, 1910. My Diario, Primera Sarai Roman III, 1901, 1904, 1920. My Diario, Mucho de mi vida y algo de la de otros, Segunda Sarai, 1905, 1908, 1934. My Diario Roman 4 1905-1908 Mucho de mi vida y algo de la de otros. My Diario Mucho de mi vida y algo de la de otros. Segunda Sarai Roman 2 1909-1911-1938. My Diario VI 1912-1919 Mucho de mi vida y algo de la de otros 1995 Posthumous. And my Diario Roman 7 1920-1939 Mucho de mi vida y algo de la de otros 1996 Posthumous. Theater. His theater pieces are La Ultima Campana 1894, social comedy in 3 acts and prose, opened in Teatro Principal of Mexico City on 11 May 1894. Diverters 1894, monologue in prose. Opened on 6 June 1894 in the National Theater in Mexico City. La Venganza de la Gleba 1904, a Buenacuenta 1907 drama, San Salvador. Opened on 6 February 1914 in Teatro Ideal in Mexico City. Entre Hermanos 1925, tragedy, opened on 19 May 1928 in Teatro Arbu, Mexico. Journalism 1884, proofreader of El Faro, a journal of law. 1885-1887, reporter, writer and chronicler for El Diario del Hogar. Finally, has his own space in 1886. Célèbres de la Opera sign with the pseudonym La Cocardier. A short while later, the column is called Desde mi mesa from my table. 1888, writer for El Lunes. Starts to sign the articles under his name. 1894-1895, Federico Gamboa and Angel de Campo published in El Mundo the article Salutis que passen, that they wrote under the pseudonyms of Bouvard or Pecachet. 1915-1917. Interim director 1915, writer, in charge of translating into Spanish articles originally in English, French and Italian, in charge of the bibliographic section La Reforma Social Magazine, in La Habana, Cuba. 1926-1939 wrote an article on a weekly basis for El Universal. Essays. La Novela Mexicana 1914. This was a conference presented in the General Bookstore of Francisco Gamonda on 3 January 1914. Printed the same year in Mexico by Mexico Eusebio Gómez de la Puente. La Confusión de un Palacio. Essay about Mexican national history. Unveil in Palacio, in collaboration with Gustavo Bez 1887. Motion pictures based on his novels. Suprema Ley 1896, made into a movie in 1936 and opened on 19 March 1937 in the Rex Cinema. Directed by Rafael E. Portes, it starred Andrés Soler and Gloria Moore. Santa 1903 has been made into a movie 4 times in Mexico. In 1918, silent version directed by Luis G. Perrido with Elena Sanchez Valenzuela. In 1932, directed by Antonio Morno, with a song from Agustin Lara and starring Lupita Tovar. This movie has been named within the best 100 films ever made. In 1943, another version, directed by Norman Foster and starring Esther Fernandez, opened on June 10 in Cinema Palacio and its showings lasted 4 weeks. Finally, in 1969, their Emilio Gomez Muriel directed the latest version. There is a version made in Spain in 1991, directed by Paul Leduc and called Latino Bar, and a free adaptation made in 1949, directed by Fernando de Fuentes, starring Esther Fernandez and called Hipólito El de Santa. La Laga 1913. Entre Hermanos 1928, made into a movie in 1945 directed by Ramon Peon on a script written by Emilio Fernandez, Mauricio Magdaleno, and Carlos Vilo. Starred Pedro Armendariz, Carmen Montijo, Rafael Baledin, and Anita Blanche. Notes and references. Works from Gamboa.